happy with it. So we will see.
There are some.
But it's been good not to FOMO in the last few days. I think we've discussed it, both you and I in our corners. The open interest was just skyrocketing, reaching the highest levels of the year. There was a lot of spot selling at the same time, people sending their BTC to exchanges. So the price, as it was going up, it was just being pushed by leverage apes. And it is only natural that at some point these will get liquidated and these positions will close, and that will just make the price of Bitcoin drop. And the RSI was also in an overbought area on the 1 day and the 12 hour. So it was a good idea to either wait for the flip or for a pullback. And we got a pullback now, and I think we are at a big zone. I don't want to lose this area. I don't want to go below 68 500 personally. I think that would be quite bearish, and we would need to look for lower levels.
Yeah, it can be true. If we lose that 68, let me share the screen. I'm sharing it. 68, we have some fresh box, which is a zone to hold. Then the only area below it is 67,433, and the most bearish scenario would be 6280.
Yeah, but if the market is really bullish, I want 68, 69K to hold. 69K was the last lower time frame resistance before Bitcoin pumped to its all-time high area. So moving below that, in my view, just would trigger a lot of selling and panic, and people calling for the end of this bull market, which is obviously not the case. So I want to hold. I want to hold above there. But obviously, a lot of the price action will will depend on other developments outside of crypto. We have data today, actually in 25 minutes. The unemployment rate will be released, and we will see how stock markets will react to that. We have the U.S. elections next week. We have the FOMC meeting next week. So, I mean, it's interesting times, but also volatile times. We cannot only rely on our technical analysis to navigate the market. I think if you want to be really safe, you wait for the U.S. elections to be done, and then you see where the market is.
Have you checked the liquidity map, heat map?
Yes,
You can
there's actually
see,
a lot of liquidity, 69, 68K.
yeah,
The
and
last time I
also
see.
you can clearly see that longs are quite weaker than the shorts. The shorts are way
I mean,
higher.
it makes sense that there's a lot of short liquidations formed above the recent highs because people entered short there. Which made sense. I mean, if you ignore the noise and the positive sentiment, technical wise, it made sense to go short there. Obviously, it's risky, but some people risk it and enter shorts there. And now they have their stop losses above that level, and which explains all that liquidity. And we don't have a lot of liquidity to the downside because Bitcoin did pull back, but I think it can move a little further until we get a full RSI reset on the 4 hour, and then I would expect more liquidity to form from new longs.
There is at the box that 6880, 68693. There is a lot of liquidity right now. 68762. Yeah. So this area here is where the liquidity of longs being built. Yeah. I think market is gonna hammer those shorts that I show you. These guys need to be hammered. 71,536 71,596. Damn it. 71.5. Yeah. So this is a lot of liquidity right now. Yeah. So practically this is the range, daily range. Like depends if this zone is reached out, probably this guy's gonna take TP, so the downside liquidity evaporates, while this one needs to be hammered. Another thing that I saw is this H4 order block here, and that's why I said that we are trading in a high resistance, because this order block is during Asia, and Asia bid heavy shorting and dropped the price here. I only have these two areas right now to go short or go long.
Yeah, I like it. And I want that downside liquidity area to hold on a higher time frame. You're discussing it on a lower time frame. I'm discussing it on a higher time frame. On a higher time frame. As I said, I don't want to go lower than that. If we go lower than that, I'm gonna look for like 66K around that area. But yeah, I mean, we talked about the 69, 68K area 2 days ago when everybody was really, really euphoric about the price action. It has been holding. I'm just not fully convinced that this is the bottom because we still didn't get below the 4-hour RSI. Obviously, Bitcoin doesn't only move because of the RSI; it moves because of liquidity being hit. But
Yeah.
let's see. I mean, if we get a drop to that 68, 800, 68, 500 area, and maybe today, maybe over the weekend, maybe we get a full RSI reset on the 4-hour, and that would add confluence that this is actually a bottom.
Yeah, I would like to make an explanation of what you said previously about the RSI. If you can see here, we already made a bull div. But if you want to go over the liquidity, as DB said, this RSI wouldn't hold because people were too much longing this area, and obviously it's an area with 30-minute bull div. But if you had seen the heat map, you would probably see a lot of liquidity here, and if you see this wick, it shows you that a lot of stop losses were hit in here or maybe liquidated. So this wick shows you that this is a wall. This is a wall, and as I said in the morning, we're making 30-minute div, and liquidity heat map was evaporating here, so that's why I was confident that we were gonna pull up today. And that's what we are doing right now.
And overnight, we also got a really good flush on open interest for Bitcoin. It's beginning to rise now, which basically suggests that this dip was bought up a lot on leverage. Let me show you the chart in the chat. It's beginning to rise now again, which is logical with the price of Bitcoin rising. But we got a good flush on that as well overnight, which was an additional trigger or indicator that could have helped you to long that if you were awake. It's always very risky to be in leverage positions or new leverage positions when this open interest is at a high level. And the open interest wasn't high only for Bitcoin, but the total open interest in the market was really, really high at all-time high levels for this cycle. And so it was very risky to be positioned in that area. And I know that many people wanted to position into that area, assuming that 70K now is flipped, assuming that we're entering a bull cycle. But be at the close to the all-time high area, assuming a bull cycle is just not very reasonable. If you want to catch a bull cycle, you buy when nobody wants to buy. You buy the pullbacks, you buy the bleed. You don't buy when Bitcoin is close to
Yeah.
testing an all-time high area. That's just risky. But the sentiment tells you something else, right? Because that's when the emotions take control over your decision making. The emotions are telling you everything is going higher, so I need to buy now. I need to buy now, and that's where you make mistakes.
Hmm.
That's where you lose a lot of money.
Yeah, I definitely say that when there is a lot of fear, usually that's where the most gains are made. It's hard to bid, for example, this level straight up. It's hard. You need to be very calm and stuff. But yeah, buy buy the dip. It keeps dipping.
The problem is that not every dip is for buying. Of course, you can long if you see something interesting on a lower time frame, but not every dip is for
Yeah.
buying spot. I mean, just zoom out at the 12-hour chart on Bitcoin. It is up only since August 5th. And if you didn't buy the dip on August 5th, if you didn't buy the dip on September 6th, if you didn't buy the dip on October 8th, then you're too late to buy spots. It is just what it is, right? You have to wait for deeper pullbacks to position into spot. This doesn't mean that you cannot long at any dip, but not every dip is for buying. And I'm saying this because every time Bitcoin drops, I get the same questions. Are you buying spot? Are you adding to your spot bags? Are you adding to your
Mhm.
spot bag? And no, I mean, why would I add to my spot bags when Bitcoin was at 50K, when it was at 55K, when it was at 59K? Those
Mhm.
were the times to buy spot, not close to the all-time high area. I'm not buying spot unless I get a 12-hour RSI reset on Bitcoin. That can be at 62K, that can be at 66K, that can be at 70K. It doesn't matter. But if I get that RSI reset on the 12-hour, that's when I buy spot. And again, this doesn't mean that I'm not longing. Of course, I entered some positions this morning, but
Mhm.
I didn't necessarily add much to my spot bags because why would I do that? I would just destroy the average entry I have on them from lower. So I either wait for way lower or I just hold what I have and navigate the market on leverage. I think you only get like once every 2-3 months an opportunity to really add spot. Other than
Mhm.
that, it makes more sense to trade on leverage.
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah, it's usually best way is to follow your channel when it comes to spot buying because
Can you
you
describe what a 12-hour RSI reset is for you? Um, Anything below 35. If the RSI drops below 35, that's not directly an all-in buy, right? But that's a key trigger that you have to go into the chart of an alt that you want to buy, look for lower time frame support levels, find confluence with Bitcoin and Total 2, and start scaling in on spot. And if you get anything on the 12-hour below 30, ideally towards 25, 26, that's just an area where you buy spot and hold.
yeah, if you can see here, these were all opportunities.
Yeah, look at the RSI. That was, I mean, it was pure panic, right? When that happened.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't easy to bid these levels, but that's why when you buy spot,
Now that
mid to long
I'm
term
gonna
spot
admit
levels.
this area here was very hard for me as well.
It was hard for everyone because you had the crash of the Japanese stock market, you
Hmm.
had recession fears. So it wasn't easy, but that is what was needed to change the trend. If you look at the higher time frame structure, that is the last low that has been printed, and since then we only got higher lows. So that was needed for the change of this downward trend Bitcoin was trapped in for 6 months.
Yeah. Personally, where I would buy spot is if BTC reaches these gray boxes here. So if BTC drops heavy like this is the area I will start buying. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
the
I
same.
agree.
While if I
I
see, yeah,
I also agree with Samuel. I mean, psychology plays a huge role in this. Just reflect now. What was the sentiment like 2 days ago? Everybody wanted to buy. Everybody was talking about a breakout. Everybody was talking about Solana reaching $200. The first time I heard of people talking about Solana to $200 is where I wanted to take full profits on Solana. I mean, when you start getting these upside targets when everything's going up, it's just, a good time to start taking profits. And the same logic applies when the market drops, right? Let's say it drops to 60K, and the TA tells you that this is a good support area, that the RSI is in a heavily oversold area, but people call for 55K, they call for 50K. That's where you start scaling in.
hmm,
And just using the psychology of people, the emotions of people, that will help you a lot navigating this market, let alone if that is complemented by technical analysis and tools that we discuss on daily basis.
to be honest, if the market like really topped here, this is a bottom place for me. There is a lot of confluence in here. Monthly POCs, 12-hour order block untapped. Also, if you go on weekly, you have an imbalance never filled. On 12-hour, you have an imbalance as well here. I totally believe that if market's gonna drop more, this is an area, very strong area with very good interest.
It is,
I,
but we have so many other levels above that, so
yeah.
let's not FUD people with these levels. I think
I'm not
68,
I'm not
69K
funny, but
is.
since we're talking about spot buying, I would
Yeah,
buy,
yeah, but
definitely
that would
buy.
be. I think that would be quite bearish if we get there, because it would mean that this flip of the diagonal trend line was just a deviation above it, and then if we accept below it, I don't think that would be really bullish, to be honest. So ideally, I want that diagonal trend line to hold. It's also the previous all-time high area from 2021 at
The one
69K.
the one on the weekly, this one.
Yeah, like maximum touch that diagonal trend line, which I don't want to see as well. I want to see us hold above 68K, but below that, that would be quite bearish for me. I mean, I wouldn't be so happy with that. And if let's say Bitcoin doesn't hold 68K, 69K and drops to 62K that you've been discussing, we would have a change of trend in total too as well, because it would be the first time since August 5th that total two prints a lower high, and that would be indicative of a change of trend to the downside as well. So yes, of course, it is nice to have also heavy discount and buy, but like I think we had enough discounts in the last few months. I want to see strength in the market now, and start a new uptrend towards new all-time highs for Bitcoin.
I agree. Already on higher time frame, the structure is bullish.
Yeah, we have a data print in 9 minutes. Let's see how that turns out. S&P 500 has been declining yesterday for various reasons. We had bad economic data on job openings, on GDP, people de-risking ahead of the US elections. And
It's
now we have the
130, right?
unemployment. Sorry?
130, right?
130, yeah. So I,
Mhm.
I I can imagine that there will be a lot of volatility in the market around the elections, especially on the election day and the day after it when the votes are counted. And you will probably have different candidates leading and changing lead. Harris will lead after a time, then Trump, then Harris, then Trump, and that could create a lot of volatility. I wouldn't be surprised if the market just drops if Harris wins. So for the best interest of our markets, I really hope that the Trump wins. I think the sentiment is a bit better with him. I don't really care about the politics here, to be honest.
Yeah.
You ever compare this year to 2019 and 16? And for stock markets, I do. For the crypto market, it's very difficult because the context is completely different
Yeah,
compared to the last cycle.
the volume says everything that it's not the same cycle.
Mhm. Yeah, I looked at volume from Coinbase that came out with the earnings report. It just tells you that retail volume is completely absent,
Yeah.
which is very interesting. And only 33% of all the volume on Coinbase is on assets other than USDT, BTC, and ETH. And that used to be completely different in 2020 for various reasons again. But I discuss that in my corner every time, so we don't need to get into detail. But it is different for sure. For stock markets, I think you can compare, but also the cycle is a bit different for stock markets as well because you have US elections, but you also have rate cuts at the same time. You've had high interest rates for 3 years. You've had high inflation, so every year is a bit different. But this one is significantly different from others. So always a bit tricky to do these comparisons.
I think we need to switch to Euros DB very soon.
Oh yeah. I sent out a tweet in I think it was late September where I said that I'm switching. I'm switching to dollars because the dollar was very weak, and I suggested that rate cuts were priced in and the dollar is gonna pump in the next few weeks, and that's exactly what happened. But yeah, interesting level for DXY here. If we drop here, that would be quite good. So it will depend a lot on the data and the FOMC next week. All right, 5 more minutes. Let's see what we got. I really hope that the data is good, man. We've had enough bad data this week.
We should buy this card DB.
Yeah, that's a good one.
TB wants to buy it next year, by the way. Man,
Fake news.
it's a beast.
All right, what else? What else do we got? Are there any questions in the chat? We got 5 more minutes to the data release.
What you got for others, bro?
Others, it's just been so painful to navigate the market using others because of the high dominance on Bitcoin. So everything, what alts did depended on the on Bitcoin basically. I'm not so sure. I don't have a good read on others. I mean, on a high time frame, it's ranging between 240 billion and
200 is
180 billion.
200, I think it's
Yeah, it
okay.
is. It is. I prefer to use total two, to be honest, for alts. I think it's been more accurate. It includes
Are
high
you
caps
seeing
as well, and
others dominance? It's coming to a good area.
yeah, I expected maybe below 9, like 890, 880.
Yeah, I
Wouldn't be
have
surprised to see that.
873.
Yeah, so that 880 area, I think that will be retested in the next weeks. And I would
This
leave
can
some alerts there.
I already have some, but I think this can bring a lot of buying opportunity here.
I agree.
Like
It's been weak, which is logical. You have Bitcoin dominance rising. You had high caps such as Solana leading the altcoin market, so there wasn't a lot of liquidity left for mid caps. Are you bullish or bearish for ETH USD Q4? I'm bearish on Ethereum long term, if that's what you're asking me. I'm not bearish on the market per se. I think Ethereum is super overrated. It's just had a first mover advantage. It gained its success from being the first to do what it does. In this cycle, you have so many better competitors, and you can see other similar coins doing well, way better, like Sui, for example. But I'm not bearish on the market per se. I think the period after the elections has usually been characterized with bullish price action for stock markets, and I expect Bitcoin to catch some bit from that as well.
Yeah, personally, ETH has been very disappointing over this push and everything. But if you are allocated on ETH coins, which are some good projects, good memes as well, I think this level here can bring a lot of volume on those coins. Personally, I don't hold the ETH, but I hold ETH coins. So I'm eyeing these
I got
levels since a while. This can bring us strength.
Ethereum, man. It's just interesting. You had 870 million inflows on BTC through ETFs, and at the same day, you have 7 million into Ethereum. I mean, the discrepancy is just unbelievable.
Can you?
There's
eh, Would
no
you think that
ETF.
there would be a rotation of ETF, like if BTC pumps and then the ETF start bidding ETH?
I mean, it can happen. ETF buyers are retail investors, just like all of us. They're not smarter per se.
Mhm.
So if they see ETH catching a bit and Bitcoin dominance dropping, I wouldn't be surprised to see that in the future. But for now, they're all into Bitcoin. Can you pull up the Bitcoin chart on a lower time frame? We got the data release in a minute.
Yeah.
So let's see what we got. With these data releases, always important to also wait for the reaction of stock markets, and they usually open 1 hour after the data release.
Hmm.
And I see the SPX is a bit lower today,
Let me pull
a bit lower,
SPX
but
as
not a lot
well.
lower.
SPX. Wow.
Look at the RSI also resetting nicely.
This
Yeah,
was your zone,
that's
right?
right. Yeah, that's. I mean, below that, the uptrend changes, and we have a change of trend that would be very bearish. So I want to see that level hold now. If we get it today, and we also got an RSI reset on the 4 hour. All right, data's out.
Shit.
What do we got?
Bad data for dollars.
Yes, unemployment probably above expectations. But let me confirm.
Look at the dollar.
Yeah, that's. I
No,
mean, the dollar is telling me that the data is not good. So let me check.
yeah,
Unemployment in line with expectations.
325
Let's look at
pips.
the non-farm. Yeah, unemployment in line. Yeah, I think the NFP data that got missed. Something has to be with it says 12K expected 100 and that cannot be real.
You were interrupted. Can you repeat it? DB.
No, I mean just Oh, man, can you hear me?
Yes, right now.
Can you hear me? Can you?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yeah. So, U.S. economy added 12,000 jobs. It was 106,000. Wow,
But
this is really bad data.
for
That
what?
explains the
Dollar
price
or
action of the dollar. Just well, let's see how stocks react to this data in an hour. But like this is really bad. I mean, we had job opening numbers below expectations, GDP growth below expectations, unemployment luckily in line with expectations. So at least that's one is good. But new jobs added to the economy just 12K out of expected 106K. I mean, is this? I got a good source, so it seems like this is a correct number. Look at the dollar dropping. Very interesting.
and I told you to go to euros.
Look at the dollar, man. Wow.
The timing.
I mean, I understand
356.
why the dollar is reacting like.
It's probably gonna grab liquidity somewhere and ram. But all other charts like
Wow. I mean,
Euro, Euro USD is very
I
bullish.
understand why. Can you hear me?
Yes,
'Cause I
but
think I'm talking over you. I mean, I understand why the dollar is reacting like this. I don't understand why Bitcoin is pumping. But yeah, I mean, the only reasonable explanation could be, let me check one thing.
I think it's just gonna grab this liquidity, bro, and ram again. Like when the
Super
stops.
weird. I mean,
Let me see if this changes.
it does make sense. I don't know why I'm lagging, man. My PC is lagging.
Yeah,
It's
liquidity
annoying.
is building 7873 70.
I mean, the dollar is dropping, but that's not necessarily bullish in every case because the data on the economy is bad. So we'll see how the S&P 500 will react to this. Can you bring up SPX futures?
Should I
Let's see how
write
that is. S&P 500 E
E what?
E line mini futures.
I can.
Um, you 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 wrote line, you retard.
So I should
Oh
put
man, you're
like this.
yeah, you gotta understand. SPX E line, like not yeah, exactly, mini futures.
Nothing pops up, bro.
Anyway, just wanted to see how that one is reacting.
Should be in here somewhere, right?
It's just select futures. Look, futures, not all, but futures. Nope.
Nothing.
Anyway, yeah, unemployment came in line with expectations. But I mean, I'm really curious to see how the
Yeah,
stock
bro.
markets react.
They keep shorting now. It's 7820 liquidity. 7820. 820. Let me see if there is a POC above. Yes, there is a weekly one. These. No monthly. 2D.
Yeah, so one explanation I could have for this, Yanni, is that people are probably now expecting higher rate cuts next week because of the weakening economy, because of these highly missed numbers. And the consensus was that there will be a 25 BPS rate cut, and now people are probably speculating that a 50 BPS rate cut will happen. Whether that is realistic or not, that's not important right now. So that's how I would personally interpret the reaction of Bitcoin, the positive reaction, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. That's bad data on the economy, highly
I
missed numbers.
I think it's just a scam pump for sure. Low volume. It's just grabbing liquidity above here.
Yeah, we will need to see how the S&P 500 reacts to this.
Look at Euro,
I
man.
don't personally consider the reaction of Bitcoin as like the reflection of the sentiment in the market. I want to see how stock markets react. I really like that
How I forgot.
5,600.
Yeah.
Should I dump everything? No, no. I personally think that any dump before or around or right after the elections is a good buying opportunity, because my long-term bias doesn't change for the markets. I think regardless who wins, stock markets will do well.
Man, I missed so much money.
Yeah, we got some heavy misses this morning. Jupiter, Injective.
This one I cancelled. This one never got there. See where dog is.
Hey, but Beam is going. Did you close that?
Yeah, I closed it. I closed it.
Oh, gave such a nice buy.
I've been round tripping a lot on the challenge, and the good trades they get front end, the bad trades get stopped. It's quite messy there.
Yeah, it's nice to see Total 2 also holding our level, guys. If you've been following my corner, you know what I'm talking about. We talked about this level yesterday. I'm not fully convinced that the bottom is in for Total 2, but yeah, good reaction, good initial reaction. Love to see it. And we came out with a plan for Total 2 when it was trading at like 940 billion, something like that.
If this goes there, I'm gonna be mad.
Which one?
Beam,
Bitcoin?
beam.
Yeah, I'm in it. I didn't sell.
I did.
I like Beam a lot for a long-term hold.
I missed the check Pepe. It was goodbye in the morning.
Mm. I bought some Pepe. I mean, longing it.
It was an obvious play, just like Beam.
Look at the. You got a div as well for Pepe? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Was looking at that. Good one, good one. Look how well these indicators work, guys, right? If you use divs, if you use RSI, if you use indexes like total two, I mean they often make a lot of sense. So if you develop your own system with three, four, five different tools and perfect that, then you will have such an easier time to navigate the market. Too, I'm really hoping on a higher time frame that we're finally able to flip 970 billion. But for a total three, if you can pull that up, uh, 643 billion has been such a
Total
huge
three.
resistance area. Yeah, look at total three is actually very, very interesting, and it tells you an interesting story for altcoins if you can bring that up. So you've had the lows at on August 6th. Then you had higher lows, higher lows, higher lows.
Mhm.
And then since the end of September, you had that 640 billion area, which has been heavy resistance for alts. So it has been tapped at least three times in the last 4 or 5 weeks,
Yeah.
right? But on the downside, you're making higher lows. So it's getting really tighter and tighter. And if total three holds here, the last low from today, this is another higher low. And if we attack these highs again, 640 billion, I'm pretty sure that this will break.
Mhm.
And that would be very bullish for altcoins.
Yeah,
That would be
this
super bullish for altcoins.
this box above here
Yeah.
flip, that would bring good buying and push upwards for sure. Like there is a lot of liquidity above. It's been tested, like you said, making a bullish trend. To confirm the bullish trend, this flip is mandatory because it would
Yeah.
bring a market structure break above, like the one
And it
here.
would incentivize people to rotate to alts. Like the
Mhm.
growth you can see in altcoins, if such a big level is flipped for total three, it's crazy. I mean, we've seen it in February and in March
Yeah,
because people start foaming at these levels into altcoins. But until that
like
is flipped, it is resistance, right?
it's the same as this one. Like this area have been tested a lot, and then after we broke above, we initiated the push and also. So that would be psychological level. This level is the same as this range below here.
Yeah.
Can you
And on
can
the
you hear my
downside,
rhythm background?
yeah, we can hear you sometimes.
Yeah.
On the downside, I really hope that today's lows hold for total three because if it starts accepting below that, it also would be indicative of a change of structure, and we would be looking for a lower low on total three, and that's not the most bullish structure, I would say.
Alts will get
Also,
wiped.
will get wiped. Why do you think so? I think they're quite wiped already in the last few months.
Ah, okay.
What? Yeah, if you lose that, yeah, I agree. But I could see total two a bit lower than today if our first area doesn't hold. I wouldn't mind not 890 billion on total two. I think that would be a really nice retest. Still waiting for that. And that would be a higher low, an RSI reset, potentially on the 12 hour, the 4 hour, the 12-hour RSI on total two now approaching the 50 level, which is often a resistance area. So wouldn't be surprised to see it reject there and then go for another retest at today's lows and potentially even 890 billion. But we will see. We will see. It's holding for now. Bitcoin is also holding a good level. So uh, the next movement will depend on how stock markets open in a bit. Yeah, so if we break 640 billion, that would likely lead to a breakout, and then you bid the retest. So that would be like the first correction after the breakout on altcoins,
Yeah,
and then that level has to hold.
I think this level is crucial since we have tapped several times. And 70, maybe a break of 75 on BTC would bring retail bid, because there would be a lot of noise, all-time high and stuff, a lot of marketing, and total flips here.
Yeah, and if you felt FOMO, if you felt sidelined a few days ago, just remember that altcoins haven't done anything. Like compared to what is possible in this market, if such a level is flipped at some point, they haven't done anything. So of course you're missing out on some lower time frame gains if you're sidelined. But I mean, once that level is flipped, and hopefully it flips, and that would accelerate the growth in altcoins heavily. Yeah, no, I never use Euro USD for Confluence. I know some people do. I use the dollar sometimes, stock markets, but never the
I
Euro USD.
personally use only dollar. Euro, I check it to switch my money to euros because we use euros.
If we get a run, we might get to 1.5, 2 trillion.
Euros is bullish though. Euro is very bullish. I need to switch very soon. We missed a good opportunity today. This is an area to be careful, guys. There is liquidity here, a lot. We check again. Okay.
Bitcoin popping already up like 2.5% from our level we discussed in our corner. A very important, very, very important level to hold. I don't want to go lower than this. We've had lower for long enough. Alt's kind of laggy. What is strong?
BTCD dominance, I think.
Yeah, that one is strong for sure. What's your take on Sol? So trap between 800 and 180 and 160. That will be a small range that Sol will be trading in for quite some time. And I only expect a bigger move if either side is broken. 800, 188, 190, huge resistance for Solana. Break above and it goes to an all-time high. Don't say down. No, I mean, I could see 160, 155, but that's not really
Don't say
down
that.
a lot.
So. What is
That was a
ING?
nasty front.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, it seems like people are just assuming that more rate hikes will happen, and that's why Bitcoin is pumping. But let's see how the stock markets if they think the same way. Okay, interesting. So we got now a 0.5% probability for a 50 BPS rate cut next week, and that, as I said, that explains the strong bounce on Bitcoin up on the data. It's a bit irrational because I think a 50 BPS rate cut is too much in the long run. 25% is appropriate. 25 BPS, sorry.
Wow, what the 5% amount. Not my day.
You're having a hard time with these ones.
What?
You're having a hard day with these front runs.
Yeah, man, it's happening a lot lately.
I,
One
I,
guy,
I,
one
I mean,
guy,
I
one guy just tagged me that two groups were having the
mm,
same limit on Yoop.
mhm. But I have to say, like the higher time frame read on the market has been really good. Like the moment Bitcoin flipped the diagonal trend line, we said that it's gonna retest the all-time high area. It did that at the all-time high area. We said that we have many warning signals flashing, so let's be cautious for new positions. Wait for a pullback. We had 69, 68K that area as a first area of interest, which came, and now it is showing a strong reaction from that. That's just really, really good. So higher time frame, I think we did a pretty good job reading the market, although your bits are getting front ran. That's more lower time frame. So I think the higher time frame matters a bit more. Anything else? What else do we got? I wish we could wait for the opening of the stock markets, but I have to leave soon.
Yeah, same. My kid is here, so he's probably gonna start making noises.
I have to go because it's my girlfriend's birthday today, and
Happy
can't ignore the
birthday.
lady on her birthday.
You spend more time with me than your girl.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, that's true, man.
Yeah, bro, man.
All right, is there any other question, guys? Anything else you want us to discuss, to cover? If not, I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
Thanks, everyone. Maybe
Okay,
we
I
wrap
think
it.
that's it. Thank you, Cryart, and thank you everyone for joining us always. We appreciate it. Take care, stay safe trading, and have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, safe
Have a good one. See
trading.
you, Cryart.
Ciao, bro. Ciao, guys. Thank you, everyone.